Michael. So we are back for our next video. This is Brittany Bly from Pop Shop America, and we are making geometric concrete templates, vessels. We have been going through the May Craft and Style subscription box. This is the third video. We're actually getting into making the concrete, and just bear with me while I pull up the live video on my computer so I can see it in both places. Here we go. Got it. Now if there's any questions, I'll be able to answer them in real time. I'm always glad to help. So we've made our paper templates, and the concrete is going to go in here. But the one thing that I didn't do in that video, because this is pretty specific to concrete or specific to how you fill it, which is we need to add a ridiculous amount of tape. Like, we need to tape this thing up. So the thing is that when we put concrete inside of these, it's gonna get really heavy. It's gonna put a little bit of stress on the paper. So we just wanna make sure that we're protecting it as best we can by adding a ton of tape and making sure that we're sealing all of the edges really thoroughly. So right now I'm just making a ton of tape strips. And this is just so I can get through it a little bit faster, so it'll be less boring for you guys to kind of see all those steps. Basically, once we have, you know, a good amount of tape, just go along your edges and just make sure that you make like cross beams. These shorter ones are okay, but this is the one that in particular I'm going to add a lot of tape to. But these, I just want to see, like even right here, can you see how there's like a little hole right there? So that is prime time for taping that up. And then another thing with making concrete vessels in geometric templates like this, or if you're gonna make these into candles, or if you're making like porcelain objects, anything that you use, the more even you're able to get these edges and the better you line them up and the clearer your folds, the more crisp and perfect and stylish the finished product is going to be. So that's another thing that you want to keep in mind. There's like another little hole that I'm going to fill in. The tape does not have to be pretty. This template, no matter what we do, the template is going to be completely ruined. So don't worry about how it looks on the outside. Just like tape it up. Do your thing. Get all of the edges really thoroughly. The outside won't matter. It's really the inside that's gonna make a difference. And so that's a really good reason of why we put these flaps on the outside instead of on the inside. It's easier to tape, but also we want smoother surface on the inside for that concrete. This one, I feel like I just want like a little bit more tape everywhere on this one. So once we get these a little bit more taped up, let me just walk you guys through all of the steps and all of the supplies that you need. You're gonna need these geometric templates, which you can get from the blog at popshopamerica.com. Put in geometric, concrete, vessel, any of those search terms, and you're gonna find these bad boys in the geometric concrete vessel blog post. You're gonna need some way to coat the inside of them. In the May Craft and Style box, and this will also be a standalone kit, by the way, available in the shop at popshopamerica.com. if you want to order all of the supplies and get them delivered to you all in one go. Then we provide a little Vaseline, but you could also use coconut oil, you could use olive oil. You're definitely gonna want a way to brush the inside with whatever oil you choose. I'm going to use a foam brush. But you could use whatever you like. We definitely want a lot of tape down here. This is where it's really gonna get heavy. And then from there, once we have the template coated, brushed, all that good stuff, that's when we're gonna pour in the concrete. The concrete that we're gonna be using today is called Rockite. It is my personal favorite. There's other ones that I've used. I've used Quikrete a whole lot. I've used some kind of like random brands that didn't really even have like a name. Rockite is my favorite because it is really versatile in how much water you mix. It's really easy to work with and it sets really fast. What's really cool about it setting fast is you can actually feel the concrete heat up and you get to sense the chemical reaction. So I'm actually going to be right back. I realize that all of these are unused and it seems kind of silly to waste it. So I'm going to run into my kitchen and I'm going to grab some coconut oil, things that I already used. I've got my foam brush, so I'll be right back in just 1 second. Wow, I'm so glad I found this coconut oil really quickly. I thought for sure I was gonna get in there and just like never be able to find it and then it was gonna take forever. So here I've got just like coconut oil, dipping my foam brush in here. This is a clean foam brush, so I'm not worried about that being kitchen oil. And then see, I'm just brushing the inside. I wanna make sure to coat every single surface. And it just needs to be a light coat. And you're gonna see the paper start to get like oily. That's totally okay. And you might also notice places that you wanna tape up more, which is great. Just give it a coat all the way around. Just give it a coat everywhere. And I like to go over it twice or maybe even 3 times just to make sure that I'm getting everywhere and that I'm not missing any spots. It's actually okay if you do, if you miss a spot. So like, let's imagine that you don't coat it. What's gonna happen? Well, the concrete is gonna stick to the template, but it's paper. So it's really okay because what you can do is you can use a sponge, wet it down. Once you take the concrete out of the template, you wet a sponge and you can actually just wipe it down to remove most of the paper from the concrete. But why go to such trouble when we could just coat it? And if you're using a plastic mold or like a silicone mold, then you will absolutely need to coat it. Same thing if you're working with resin. With resin, you always have to coat everything. So this is just one of those things you get used to when you craft a lot. It's like, yep, you're making a template and you're gonna coat it. Or you're buying a template and you're gonna coat it. It like cuts across so many different media, so many different styles of crafting, is making templates and coating them. So you definitely have to take like simple pleasures in like some of the more boring kind of moments of crafting. If you don't find joy in these little moments, then that can be a problem for some more time-intensive crafts. But there are lots of faster crafting where you don't have to do this sort of boring stuff. Like for example, you know, I'm a big gardening plant person. We have a ton of different gardening tutorials on the blog at Pop Shop America. I'm all about growing herbs and lavender and making terrariums, and I'm really obsessed with succulents and air plants and anything with gardening. There's a lot more instant gratification unless you're working with seeds and you're talking about growing something over time. But like, for example, making a terrarium, that's gonna be so fast. So there's definitely lots of things you can do that are fast, like if you don't like this sort of work. But I do hope that you find joy in it and that you get excited about it, because I know I really like this. So we're pretty much coated up. And we're just gonna set these bad boys right here. If you have any concern about your templates leaking when you're making these, a little sneaky hack is you can just take a, let me find one of got one behind me. You can take a kind of a junky cardboard box like this one right here, and you can actually set your pieces inside. And I did tape this one just a little bit faster than maybe what I would like, so I'm actually gonna leave mine in here and use this method just in case. And so now what we want to do, I'm just going to put this to the side so you can see me mix the concrete, and we'll bring that guy back. Oh, I need a container to mix concrete. Wow, y'all, I am not prepared for this. 1 second. That was really easy to find too, so yay for that. So you can even see that there's like old concrete in this one. So now we are going to mix some concrete, which is really fun. So we are going to shoot for the texture of cake batter, or maybe a little bit denser than cake batter. Not quite, I would not say brownie batter. So in the May Craft and Style subscription box, or if you buy this as a one-off box from PopShopAmerica.com, you are going to get about 3 pounds of concrete. That is a good amount for this project. I just filled this with a little bit over a cup. I can always add more because I've literally got about 60 pounds of concrete underneath this table that I'm working on. So I'm just going to add a small amount of water at a time. We have to work quickly. Concrete sets really quickly, and especially this Rockite, you are going to feel that chemical reaction. Like this is going to start to heat up with just in a couple of minutes. Like really, we have about 2 minutes to stir this and get this in the vessel. So don't dilly-dally. Once you start pouring water, get into it, get it stirred up, get it in the vessels. And this right here, we definitely don't need to add any more water than this. If anything, maybe I added a little bit too much water. But again, that's my favorite thing about Rockite is that, you know, some concretes you have to be pretty specific about how much water you add, and you really don't with Rockite. And I really love it because you can see that chemical reaction happening. You can feel it. It gets so hot and it sets really fast. Like this is really great. Like if you're thinking about using concrete for like a student project, if you're a teacher, or if you have like a girls, you know, crafting group and you want to do something, Rockite is the best concrete because it's going to set fast. Otherwise, you know, you might end up at the event for hours just like waiting for everything to set, and you're like, oh, it's still not done. Like, this is annoying. So we've got all of these right here, and then there's one more thing that we need to have ready, which is we need a little cup to put inside to make the opening. So I am just getting into here, getting out all these little cups. And then we're also going to need to put some weight in the cup, but we don't have to worry about that quite yet. So let's do this guy first. I like this guy. This shape is cute. So we're filling it about 2/3, maybe 3/4 of the way. Oop. And then before you stick it in there, you better coat this guy too. Don't be like me. So take our little brush. Just get it all wet with your coconut oil or your Vaseline or olive oil or whatever you're using. Almond oil, it could be like a body care oil. It could be a kitchen oil in your kitchen, like food. And then we're just gonna start to push it down and see how far up that concrete rises. And you know what? I think I did a good job here, because when I push it down to where this opening, maybe there's about an inch, you know, at the bottom, which is a good amount. And the concrete is now up at the top. So now all I need is something to weigh this down and hold it in place, because otherwise the cup is going to rise back up. So I am looking for heavy items. Aha, I found some liquid gilding nearby, one of my favorite craft supplies. It is not quite heavy enough, it is still floating. Let's see if we can add one more gilding on top. Hey, and look at that, we've got the perfect amount of weight. Now we just have to worry about it staying balanced. Oh, that is trickier than I thought. Okay, so I'm just not gonna breathe on that or look at it so that it can stay in place. And we've still got a little bit of concrete in here, but not quite enough for these objects. So I am mixing just a little bit more in the same container off screen. I'm doing it off screen because I need to do it a little bit quicker because it's already in here starting to set. I'm not sure if you can tell in the video, but this guy is actually kind of getting a little sideways, so I'm just gonna push him back into place. Keys work really well for this. Rocks work really well. Grab some rocks for outside. Right, got my concrete going. Make sure you scrape the bottom really thoroughly when you're mixing that concrete. Don't let there be clumps on the bottom. And it looks like I have about enough for this small vessel. I certainly do not have enough for this really big vessel. So far, I would say that I've maybe used closer to 2 pounds of concrete total. I'm gonna rearrange these, get this a little bit closer to me just so I can see what I'm doing a little bit better. And I'm just pouring it into the vessel. That's really the easiest way, or the paper template. That's really the easiest way to do this. And if you take a look, like it pours really easily. It's pretty much no mess, so that's nice. Oops, I dripped on the outside, but that's okay. And then this one, see, his opening is really small, so I'm gonna need to use a cup or something that's a little bit smaller. So I've got this guy right here, which I'm just coating in the oil. And I'm gonna repeat. That same technique where I just push it down. And I watch the concrete kind of rise up. Ooh, and look, it's kind of coming untaped. So this one I think I'm not going to push as hard. And let's see, what do I have nearby that's heavy? You know what, this one I feel like I could just maybe put something across the top of it. Let me see. You know what I'm going to do is I'm going to let that float and I'm going to come right back with some heavy objects. Aha! Oh, I've got all kinds of heavy stuff over here. Just grab all kinds of things. So I got a bunch of scissors. I have this like air plant food. Oh yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, this guy's leaking a little bit, but that's okay. He's still gonna look great. All right, and then last we've got this big boy, and I'm a little nervous about him. So for this one, we're definitely gonna need a little bit more concrete. Oh, and you know what? I'm actually going to do this last one in the next video because I'm going to show you guys how to color concrete. So we'll let these two start to set. The next one will be a colored concrete. We're going to do like a little marble swirl. And it will be nice and fun, so I'll see you in just a minute.